All right, guys, so in this guide, we're going to go ahead and look at Viessa. Again, this is another one of those quick and dirty style guides. With the updates coming out here in just a few weeks, I don't really want to spend 3 to 4 hours editing a video now, just to go ahead and probably have to replace it in just a couple weeks. But I did want to get the information out to you guys because we have done quite a few builds and a lot of people have been asking for our builds. So we're going to go ahead and hop in and we're going to look at our build for Viessa and our absolute mob build. Now with this build, I'm going to talk about two different main guns. Now the first one is going to be the Peacemaker. I like the Peacemaker because it's just a great stat stick and it has a lot of move speed on it. As you can see here, ours has 3 move speed cores, which is great to really let you move around the map quickly. Now, having said all that, Viessa is a singular skill descendant, and because of that, you could make a use case for using Blue Beetle. Now, using Blue Beetle isn't going to net you any more damage, but what it is going to do is make sure that you never have a debuff on you. And there is a lot of utility in that. So at the end of the day, feel free to use either one of these weapons depending on your playstyle. Realistically, Blue Beetle is probably the better play because it is going to keep you from having any major debuffs on your character, but I just like the mobility that Peacemaker gives, and that is the gun that I personally use when I run this build. For both of these weapons, other than the sprint speed cores, it's entirely up to you what you put on them. They are 100% stat sticks. Doesn't matter what their mods are, doesn't matter anything else, because especially with Viessa, all you're going to be doing is spamming your skills. Now, having said that, you can go ahead and put a backup weapon on her, and we're going to go ahead and put our last dagger on her. If you've seen any of our videos, you know that we like last dagger, and we like a very general roll on our last dagger. The best part about this is it lets it work with almost any build that we come up with, and you're not really locked into only using this weapon against one type of enemy, say toxic or fire. And that's really the way we have it built out. So with that said, you're going to go ahead and see firearm critical hit damage on here. You're going to see 2 firearm attack, and you're going to see 2 additional fire rate. And then when it comes to the roll, we do go ahead with Colossus on here. We personally like that because we do use this gun when it comes to doing general Colossus hunting. You can switch that out for whatever works best with your playstyle. You could just go with crit hit rate if you really want. We do have firearm critical hit damage, firearm attack, and then we finish up with weak point just to make sure we're putting in as much damage as we can if we decide to use this gun. But realistically, you're probably not going to use this gun a whole lot on Viessa. Now, when it comes to the mods, again, we wanted to make this a very general purpose, general use weapon, and this doesn't have a lot of investment in it. So what you're looking at here is we're going to increase the base weapon damage, we're going to increase the crit hit damage, and we're going to raise the weak point damage. And then the other main things we're going to do with this is we are going to add Fire and Fiesta. The main point of having this is it allows us to have very short, very unlimited burst damage windows. And with the amount of damage this gun does, typically you'll kill most things in that burst window. And then we do have one uncatalyst slot up there. You can see we've got firearm enhancement in it. You can switch that out for whatever element that the enemies you're fighting are weak to. This allows this gun to be very versatile. It doesn't cost a lot when it comes to catalysts, and that's one reason I really like this style of the weapon. When it comes to a reactor, you are going to want a singular reactor. With us using Absolute Mob, all of her skills become singular, so you are going to get a lot of bonus when it comes to this reactor. Now, for the optimized condition, make sure it matches whatever weapon you're using. Again, I'm using Peacemaker, so it does have hand cannon on it, but if you are using Blue Beetle, definitely look at putting a scout rifle on here instead. When it comes to the roll on this, I like cooldown because I like to be able to spam her skills. I don't run into a lot of MP issues, so I just add the extra damage on there with the singular skill power. But if you find that you are running out of MP for whatever reason, definitely think about putting a cost reduction on there. For her components, I personally like the Slayer set on her. I think you can make a use case for using the Polar set, But at the end of the day, the skill power that we get from the Slayer set is just nice across the board. And a lot of people have the Slayer set and use it across multiple characters. So it is one of the sets that I think is universally regarded as a top tier set, and one that's worth taking the time to go farm a good set on. Now, having said that, I obviously haven't farmed the best set. So what you're going to be looking at is trying to get as much MP and MP recovery as you can on this set. Same thing we said with Jax. On the top one, you can get MP and HP. The second slot, you can get double MP. You can get MP recovery and max MP. Third slot, you can get defense and MP recovery. And then the fourth slot is just scuffed. It's just shield. So just get what you can. That's the best for that slot. For the inversion reinforcement here, there's not a lot of choices that really help skill descendants, so we're just going to go ahead and go with what we go with on most of our skill descendant builds, which is selective neurostimulation, Arche circulation tactic, and biodensity augmentation. These are going to get you the most bang for your buck across the board with skill cooldown, HP and MP recovery, or max HP and MP recovery. At the end of the day, you can use this board to fill into 2 deficiencies that you're finding in your playstyle. But this is what I would go ahead and use. When it comes to your Arche tuning, this is the board setup that I really like. We're really building into a lot of skill damage and skill cooldown with some more crit hit damage. We want to be able to hit as hard as we can with her skills as often as possible. And you'll see when I go through her gameplay loop just how much damage she does and how fast you can spam her skills. So for now, this is the tree that I would suggest you set up when it comes to you using your Viessa. When it comes to the dog on Viessa, just go ahead and use the Hagios sheepdog. Again, you're not going to be using heavier purple ammo, so the other dog really doesn't net you that much of a benefit. And while you're not going to be dying a whole lot with the build that I showed you, having the extra health is going to be more helpful than having ammo that you're never going to use. Again, at the end of the day, use whatever dog you want because it doesn't really impact this build that much. But if you have to pick between one or the other, I would just go ahead and use the sheepdog. So when it comes to the build on Viessa, this is what I'm running. I'm running an absolute mobbing build, and we're doing what we can to expand the reach of her skills. We really want them to have a nice big radius, and we're going really hard into crit hit damage here, and then getting the cost down as much as we can and trying to get the cooldown as low as we can. Our whole goal here is to hit as many people as we can, as fast as we can, with very, very, very hard hitting skills. You'll see here in a second, her numbers are very good, and it's surprising how strong Viessa actually is in the current sandbox. The initial loop of Viessa is going to be to pop your 2, and then you want to use your 3 on large groups of enemies. While your 3 is on cooldown, you're going to go ahead and spam your 1 until your 3 comes off of cooldown. And this is basically how you're going to do all of your damage, and we're going to keep them encased in an ice road. When our ice road's about to run out, we're going to go ahead and re-pop it. And as you can see, we do an absolute ton of damage with Viessa like this. Outside of that, if you know where a large pack is, or you know where a large pack is going to spawn, you can use your blizzard as well. So in that situation, you go ahead and pop your ice road because you want to keep your ice road up all the time. When you find the pack of enemies you want, you're going to go ahead and put your 4 in the middle of them. And then after that, you're going to do what we said before, which is spam your 3, and in any downtime you have on your 3, go ahead and throw some 1s in there just to keep that damage up. And as you see, guys, you can do an insane amount of damage with Viessa with this build. All right, guys, and that's it. That's everything you need to know about Viessa and how to use her with the build that we have set up. She is a very hard-hitting descendant, and I'm a big fan of playing crit hit descendants because I like to see those big orange numbers, and Viessa doesn't disappoint when it comes to really putting out those big numbers. She excels well when you're doing content that has enemies that need to be hit very hard. Think of content that has a lot of yellow bars and stuff like that. While she's not as good at bulk mobbing as, say, somebody like Bunny who can speed through the content, where Bunny slows down at killing things that are harder, somebody like Viessa just sweeps in and kills them all instantly. Not to mention, if you mix a Viessa with somebody like a Big Suck Lepic, you can see some really crazy damage numbers and a bunch of enemies disappear all at once. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. How do you like to play Viessa? Are you a big fan of the absolute build, or are you somebody that likes cold-blooded or one of our other builds? Definitely let us know down in the comments below so we can talk about it and try to come up with some other fun, interesting builds for the community. But having said that, if you guys enjoyed the content, consider liking and subscribing for more First Descendant content, as well as other game coverage in the future. And if you want to get to know us and the community a little bit more, consider coming over and watching us on the live channel. We stream 5 days a week, and we would absolutely love to see you and get to know you over there. But having said all of that, thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.